All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 23 of Coffee with Joan and Brent, and we are here with the great and powerful figure skating, Cirque du Soleil, business entrepreneur, Dancing with the Stars, or whatever that was called.
Skating with the Stars?
Whatever.
Dancing on Ice. A very popular show in North America.
You know, that's England. It's okay. Miss Robin Johnstone and Mr. Andy Buchanan.
Guys,
So we've known Andy and Robin. I did the math because, you know, I'm in real estate, so I do a lot of math stuff. And we've known each other for 11 years.
wow. Double digits.
Yeah, we still have the same car.
Hey!
Rastini?
That's key, yeah.
Right.
And it's still newer than our cars. So anyway. Yeah, so we've known Andy and Robin for 11 years, and we met them with Disney on Ice, and they were the grizzled veterans who still look the same age regardless. It's weird. I think there's some stem cell therapy going on or something.
Still grizzled.
Still grizzled. But okay, so for the dozens, there we go. For the millions of people watching, why don't you tell us kind of like your background? Like, who are you?
Who are you guys?
Who are you?
Well,
Robin.
I've been an ice show skater for the past 20 years.
I wasn't talking about
20 plus years, actually 22 years. Still skating. I'm an active artist with Cirque du Soleil. Most recently was the artistic skating partner with casting, and I was a talent scout for ice skating, anything ice at Cirque du Soleil.
Wow, you didn't scout me, Andy.
Well, you know,
You're looking for talent.
grizzled, little grizzled.
And
Well,
Robin, the cougar.
of course we're married. Yes, I'm the older woman, the Demi Moore of the relationship. We skate together, do pairs, and this year was my 25th anniversary of ice show skating.
Yay!
Wow,
Yeah.
crazy. And yes, we've been on Cirque du Soleil for about
3 years.
about 3 years now.
Yep.
And I was the first skating coach with Cirque du Soleil, so that was pretty exciting
Hey.
and something new. And yeah, now we're like everyone else, enjoying our homes and cooking a lot.
It's Iron Chef here every day.
Yes.
Every day.
It is Iron Chef, I bet. I bet you there's all kinds of buckwheat pancakes every morning.
That is true.
With an expensive
That's not a lie.
Expensive blueberries.
It's like a healthy Iron Chef, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like an aluminum chef. I don't know. This is fine. So, okay, so you guys are both from Canada.
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
yes,
And
I'm
you're
from.
from Edmonton, and Robin, hang on, is from Winnipeg.
Yes,
Yes,
that's right.
yeah.
Right, so you're always bitching about the Jets. And no, you know what? No one gets to watch. No one gets to watch.
Well, you know what? When we became friends, the Jets weren't around.
That's true. It was just Benny.
Yeah, free Jets. Oh, just Benny. Let me give that a boo.
Is anyone
So-
watching this?
No.
Wait,
Yes,
why
8 people.
do we
Oh,
hang on.
hi,
Yeah.
hi
We
everyone.
gotta crank it up for the people. There
Oh
we
yeah,
go.
there you go.
Yes.
Drink it in.
I feel like he was in the ice show in the 80s.
I feel like we worked with him.
Yeah.
Wait,
Probably did.
I have
Did
a
we
feeling.
skate?
Is that Chris Duranda?
I know.
Look at him with the hair.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Duranda. So, all right. So, Andy, how many years did you say? 22?
22.
22, and Robin 25. And so, you guys started. See, hang on. See if I remember. Andy, your first one. Were you first with Jungle?
No, my first show was Hercules.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, South America.
And then Robin, you.
My first show was a
Anastasia.
Willie B. Tech show in Montreal.
Okay. Wow.
94, December 94. So a long
Solid. I was still working on a cheated double loop at that time.
Is that when you made the transition into ice dance?
I'm still transitioning.
I can't deal with this background.
Oh, right, because Joan's head's gone. Hold on.
Right.
There we go.
There we go.
This is a
So
very serious conversation, guys.
It's fine. It's fine. So okay, and then you guys met on Jungle?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
So
In 2000.
it's kind of a funny
Long time.
story. 'Cause
Yes,
growing up, I knew who Robin was. She came to skate at my club in the summer.
Wow.
And she was this like super cute girl, showed up on the sessions, but I hadn't hit puberty yet.
Oh.
And so she didn't,
I was 16, he was 13.
Right. So she didn't know who I was. No chance.
No, not
But I had a crush on her. And then Jungle, we joined the show together. I still had no chance. And we just became like really good friends. It was like that Ryan Reynolds movie because I wasn't in great shape. And then,
waiting.
no, just friends.
Well, this-
Yep. And then we just started hanging out. Honestly, we just became
Yeah.
like best friends. And then one day we were,
A couple years later,
we just
Yeah.
decided like we really like each other and still best friends.
still here,
Man. So how many years have you been married?
12.
almost 13.
Yeah.
13 in June.
See how fast I answered?
Hey.
You thought about that. You're like, well, I guess we can't go anywhere for our anniversary, so
How long have you guys been married now?
Almost 11?
Yeah.
Right?
yeah, I don't know.
In
Is that right?
June.
In June.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun times.
It's great. You know, I often tell your story, Andy, about do you like Mickey Mouse? Just to close friends.
Well, that was in my younger years, and I drank a lot of Red Bull and vodka, and that was a cool thing to drink. Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah.
I really thought I was cool, and I thought I would. Before Robin and I were together, I tried to pick up a girl in a bar, but I told my friends to watch what I'm about to do, and I got slapped, and they watched. Yeah, they saw all of that.
I wish that was more modern time because that would have been on film.
On film.
Oh, sorry, it would have been on hard drive. Do you have any questions, Miss Interview? Miss Barbara Walters over here?
No.
Diane Sawyer?
No.
No? All right.
Well, we do have something exciting happening. We
Yeah.
can't really say too much about it, but we have started our own company. Right now, we have just finally created the team that's going to be with us, and it's a lot of really talented people from other athletic industries that are the best in the world at what they do.
Once again, I didn't get a call, but all right.
Yeah. Again, it was just the grizzledness, I think.
Again, it was talent.
No, so we're like part of what we're going to do is we're going to create seminars bringing multidisciplinary performers together, and everybody from
Strippers.
from acrobatics to circus to sports medicine and coaching, and we're going to bring all these people together to create seminars and clinics. But the difference with
Custom.
so it's custom, it's fully custom what you want, but the difference is we have access to, the people in the 1%. And so that's the difference with us, is it's not just a seminar that you'd see at your local rink. It's a seminar with these people who work with, Olympic athletes or, famous people or people that you've only dreamed of working with. So it's using all our resources and the people we're working with, their resources to create this like amazing
Unique experience or workshop.
Would you ever consider bringing on a Disney ensemble member?
Well, I think if we have a kick line section, if we have a real request for kick line work, or T-Rex work.
Somewhere around here, I still have the tip of the tail, which I call just the tip. Somewhere around here. Actually,
Well, there was a. What? Oh yes, that is
That's
awesome.
amazing.
it is.
So when is this whole thing gonna be like
He can't tell you.
launched?
That's our next interview.
Yeah, next interview. We have some projects that we're already working on and we're doing, and
But of course, we have to wait for a lot of things to open up again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, are you going to be based out of Sarasota?
the company's based out of Florida, but we're going to be worldwide.
Yeah.
Like,
So we have partners that our partners are worldwide, and we're going to be giving these clinics all over the place. So
are you okay? So are you actually going to stay where you're at, and you're just going to put them on, or are you actually going to go to these?
we're going to be part of them, especially for the first while. We're going to be the ones doing the integration to ice, and all the skating, anything skating based, will be there. We'll be at anything that's not skating based, other sports, other disciplines.
We'll bring in top people from different industries.
Yeah.
To do these really unique.
Awesome.
What about podcasters?
You never know.
I think we could definitely.
Like low-level podcasters, are you talking about?
I don't know. I think you guys have a niche market.
Mhm.
That's what we call it too.
Yeah, it's called people who aren't doing anything on a Wednesday night.
Oh, everybody right now.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
you should tell everybody you're Joanne Gaines. They're gonna believe it.
Joanna.
well,
Joanna Gaines.
that was our Halloween costume last year because it's free.
Right.
And then we didn't even end up going out. So
Yeah, we just wore our normal clothes.
Oh my God, you were already social distancing.
Yes,
we're practicing.
hence healthy.
That's what I said. Andy and I, and you guys probably the same. We're so used to always being together, and we travel together, and we work together, everything for years and years and years, that this is really no different.
I can guarantee you,
Honestly.
Lumi is fine. Nothing has changed for Lumi.
Yeah, exactly.
Have
Exactly.
you guys talked to him?
Yeah, we spoke to him
A couple weeks
last week.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
week
we-
or two ago. Yeah.
He's doing well. You know,
He's
Yeah.
at home and check, and yeah, he's
his
doing
water mill is fully converted. It's like beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's awesome. He's
Awesome.
put us on
There's
there.
people out there going, "Who's Lumi?
It's fine.
Who's this Lumi?"
Podcast those people.
Well, think of a Mr. Bean.
No, Carl Pilkington.
That is, I don't know who that is.
You've ever seen An Idiot Abroad?
Oh,
Yes.
The bald guy that goes with Ricky Gervais.
well,
Sure.
kind of.
And he hates everything that he goes to and thinks everything's stupid. It's so Lumi.
I need
Yeah.
to YouTube.
He is
that.
not with social norms. Lumi's his own man.
Yes, he is. He doesn't believe in wind chill. He hates Crocs and fake plants.
And fake plans.
Yeah, that's
Well,
basically what he needs.
so he hates Florida, basically. Minus the
Well,
winter.
the
That's why he won't come to visit.
Oh my God. Is he coaching or what's he doing?
He's still
No,
skating.
They're
Oh.
they're still with Disney on Ice.
Oh, they're still touring.
Still
Still
touring.
touring.
He still loves it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he get like senior pay? Yeah, right?
You'll have to interview them next weekend.
Oh my
Get the
God.
details
From Czech Republic.
from Czech.
Yeah.
That would be a great interview, actually.
That would be
We're
great.
actually we're gonna try to get Chad next week.
Oh, that's great.
You should actually get him tonight because he'll be busy when the baby comes home tomorrow and have two
Do a
children.
pre-tape.
Pre-tape it.
We'll see if he commented because he was talking about coming on. So I should see if I can get him to join.
Right now.
Yeah.
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 Well, no, but funny story for everybody watching is our car.
Restini.
You guys had a lot to do with us having that car.
Oh,
So-
we're car shopping.
Yeah, our car broke down when we came back from
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Great trip, by the way.
Big
Yes.
food.
One of our best,
One of our
yes, one of our best trips ever.
Big poo.
Volleyball with the Speedo guy
Yeah.
every day.
Floaty.
That's right.
Yeah.
Floaty.
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 A little Lionel Richie now and then.
Yeah, I did. That's when I really found out your love for Lionel Richie. Though.
Did I show you my Halloween pumpkin?
No.
Oh, okay, keep going.
Okay.
I'll find it.
So then it was so nice. We finally got our car. Our tour was starting in Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys drove our car cross country for us.
Yeah.
Even fixed a crack in the windshield.
Oh, that's
Although
right.
I did get a bill for that from my insurance company.
Oh, well,
That was a bit weird, but no big deal.
just about.
No, but that was so nice. That was one of the nicest things.
You
ever.
nailed it.
Yeah, you guys
I'm
are.
trying to find this picture, so don't worry.
Oh,
We'll have to do another vacation like that.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So tell us about Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah. So how did when you guys started, where what you guys did, and what were you guys doing with Cirque?
Yes.
So we started on Crystal, which was the first Cirque du Soleil show ever.
Oh, nice.
And it even the circus started before we, even before we got hired. So we auditioned and we sent our stuff in. We didn't hear anything.
We sent our stuff when we heard there was like a show coming out.
Mm-hmm.
We sent our audition video in beginning of December, and we didn't hear till March. So it was quite a long time
and
I don't know if we're gonna get to go.
And then we had other people, like we were asked to help choreograph the Disney show again. We'll be the assistant choreographers for that. And we had a couple other things that we're asking. So finally I just sent an email and I said, look, we need to know right now, like, what's the deal? Yes or no? Like, it's fine if it's no. Then they sent this music, this really strange, obscure, like no beat, just this type music. And they said, okay, we need you to choreograph a number to this music together.
I'm out.
No tricks at all. And we need
one each of us do a solo and then a pair.
Yeah. So
the same music, but no tricks.
So 3 pieces. And they said you have 24 hours. And we had about an hour of ice time. And
this was already Thursday night at midnight. We were getting it because we were in Europe.
Oh.
And so we
were on holiday.
And the next day we had a Friday. Luckily we had one show. So we got into the venue really early before the show, and we kind of mapped out something on the floor, and we had very little time on ice to like put it on the ice. And before the first show we filmed Andy one time doing his singles, one time singles. We did the show. After the show, we ran the pair that we had walked.
Wow.
One time, and we were like, okay, that's all the time.
That's it. So we sent it in.
And basically going into a 3-show day on the Saturday. So we had zero time, and we're just like, this is it. And basically we sent it in the next day, and within 24 hours we have a contract.
Yeah.
Dang.
And then the crazy thing was the day we signed our contract, we get a call from Dancing on Ice. So like, we're coming back. Would you guys like to come back? We're like, well,
we had just signed.
But we'd already done that.
Yeah. So we were okay with that because we always want to push ourselves and do something, do new things. So that's why we were sad not to go to be with our friends in England because we loved it, but we're so excited to be a part of the first Cirque du Soleil, which was Crystal. And we did, our contract was for 18 months. So we did our 18 months, and we actually just wanted to do some other stuff. And we weren't even planning to come back to do a long tour again. And I had tore my knee. So I was on, I was off at home with a torn knee and finishing the contract.
Well, so I was casting the show. So halfway through the contract with Crystal, I got the job in casting as a talent scout for skating. Mm-hmm. And so I was doing that. It was going great. And then we decided, okay, we're kind of bored with Crystal. We've kind of learned everything we're going to learn. Let's open the door for somebody new to go in who's really going to love it and be excited. So we left, and I was casting the new show, Axel. And it was going well. Everything was good. They kept saying, like, we'd like an Andy and Robin type. So I showed them so many videos and sent them things through. And finally, one of my bosses, Tatiana, she's like one of my favorite people in the world. She's like, can you guys just do it? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, I'm putting you forward. And if I put you forward, what do you think? And I was like, well, isn't it a conflict of interest? She's like, no, I'm putting you forward. So
meanwhile, I had just had knee surgery. So I was at home on the couch with my leg up and bandaged and not really walking. And Andy was finishing out the contract because I missed the last month and a half. And he goes, what do you think? Would you like to do the new show? I'm just like, I hope I can walk. Like, I don't even know if I can do another show, so we thought about it.
The director wanted us, and we did it. And, the rehearsal process for Axel was, they learned so much. Mm-hmm. So Crystal it was such an exploration. They had no idea. They had never dealt with ice. So they were learning as much from us as we were learning from them, which is kind of cool. But it was hard. It was a really hard, stressful rehearsal. And then we got to Axel and they kind of streamlined it and they learned a lot.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, the people we worked with on Axel, like, they're great. Like our cast, it was, you know how every 10 years you get, or every 5 years you get that one cast that's super close and everybody like, you know, you miss everybody.
More
Well, we only did 2.5 years, so maybe.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you didn't make it for any of those?
Yeah.
No, just kidding. No, but it's like that. And everybody's really close and they, you know, excited to be on the show and just like
really nice people and
Awesome.
really talented.
Are they gonna do a sequel, like another one, like Double Sal, or is it just?
Hopefully.
Cherry flip.
No.
Well,
That's
so,
really it.
for those of you that don't personally know them, they're like amazing at adagio type skating, like for layman's terms, like the tricks, the lifts, lots of really cool, crazy acrobatic pairsy lifts. And also, especially Robin being like consummate professionals. Like Robin's always like, when it's a show, she's like on. And of course, then it became my job 100% to try to get her to break character. Like that's all I wanted to do. Like I throw my own performance out the window if I could try to get Robin to just laugh. Just like hair flips and trying to get my lip to fall off and
dinosaur way.
Dinosaur things. If I could get Robin to laugh, it made my show. If Robin is having a bad day, then I had a bad day.
Oh, no, you did some really funny things. Well, one of the best things that you didn't do it, but it happened to you was when you're kneeling down and Chad does up your zipper on your pants.
So it's still on YouTube.
A grown man.
It's still on YouTube.
A 200-pound blonde man reaches over and does up your pants zipper
As Prince Charming.
in your spandex pants in the middle of the ice. Like that's
so it was just a little context. The zipper was on my hip. It wasn't a front zipper, but it was on my hip.
I don't know how you dress yourself. Like I don't know where you keep things. So you know, that's your private business.
It was tough. But where I look over and I start bowing down and I see Chad coming over and he's like, "Oh, you're sorry," and he zips it up like this far. And I look at him. I go, "Why didn't you just tell me?" "Oh, sorry." So that'll be next week's guest. The fly zipper.
We just saw Chad. We were in Japan a month ago.
Right, we saw that. We were really jealous.
Yeah, he was great.
Did you stay with them or did you stay?
We stayed one night. So we went over there for casting. So I did 1 week of casting and then we did a week of vacation. So
nice.
I had 2 weeks of vacation.
Hey.
So are you guys loving what you're doing right now? Like, is it awesome?
What?
I mean, are you loving what you're doing right now, aside from being quarantined? But like, with the show and then.
We're super fortunate. Like, we've been really lucky with the way our careers progressed and where it's gone. That we can still skate and we keep improving and we're healthy and you know our two rules are we'll stop skating if we don't like it anymore, if we lose the desire, or if we stop learning. So my biggest fear in the world is somebody to say, "Oh, that guy used to be pretty good." So if that ever happens, I'm out.
Can you touch your shoulders yet, or is that still?
No, I still cannot. My left one's getting better.
I can't believe you remember.
But the right one, I can't.
Wow.
Can you just do it?
Yeah.
Because there's a bicep in the way.
I think it's just a lack of flexibility. I have nothing to do with the bicep. I think I'm not right.
So actually, that's a good lead into so for all these years, you guys have been skating and you've been in like tip-top shape for so long. And for the most part, aside from like the knee injury, you guys have been pretty like healthy. So what do you guys do to maintain like your health, maintain your shape, and like what do you guys do?
Nice.
Well, we live a super clean life. Like
other than that,
that's part of it. That's part of the balance. So we eat really clean. And then when we do want to have something, we have it.
And we don't worry about it.
Because the majority of the time we're eating really clean. We sleep, sleep is the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah.
We get at least 8 hours of sleep.
And if we know we have a really busy, hard show week or work week, we don't go out. We don't drink before shows. We save that to before the day off. You just can't. Like the older you get, you feel it in your joints, and You know,
Yeah.
it's you really don't recover as fast, and you really feel it, as well as we're doing more and more pair stuff, harder tricks.
It's getting more dangerous what we do.
And we can't be doing that stuff. It's way too dangerous to be performing at a high level, doing those tricks and not feeling like you felt when you're 20 and you had some wine the night before.
Another big thing is, like, we do a lot of resistance training, like weight training and resistance training, mixed with cardio. But I think the resistance training is what gives you longevity. I think you're really building yourself up. But then, like, our philosophy is you have to, like, you can't just do your minimum. So you can't just do what you need to do to get through your show, or your body gets conditioned to that. And then if something changes, there's nothing left in the tank. So you need to do what you need to do every day and consistently go over that, so that if something does change and maybe you're not feeling well, you got a little extra gas in the tank. You know what I mean? So if you just do the minimum, that's going to be your maximum. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's I'm gonna get that tattooed on my lower back. You just do the minimum, that's gonna be your maximum. Andy,
I'm gonna leave that one alone. Just think about what you just said and wear that tattoo is.
Find it live. It's on Facebook right now. I'm gonna go with my Joe Exotic tattoo, I guess.
Well, and two, just like we just have fun. Like, we enjoy each other. We enjoy skating together. We enjoy the people we work with.
And on days off, like, we try and really have a day off. So if we have 2 days off or 3 days off, say the first day, Monday, will just be for Andy and I. We have our date day, whatever city we're in. We try not to be on the phone. We go walk around, go see something new, eat at a really cool restaurant, we just try and turn off and just spend that time together, because, when you're doing the show and you have other duties in the show, like Andy was doing casting on the side, with like 2 jobs at the same time. When I was doing the coaching, it's like you're doing that between your skating and your show stuff and your rehearsals. So you really need that time and that day with each other
to decompress, right?
To decompress. And I think in general, with whatever you're doing, you always need that day. You need at least one day to just do something else. Go outside, get some fresh air, go for a walk.
Turn it off.
Just completely turn it off. And I think that's with anything that you do. And just to
because you'll look forward to coming back.
Yeah, then you'll be recharged.
And it's really interesting. We've learned over the years, like, that the bitterness, we see it with other people, and we've had shows where we've been like that. Like, if you don't give yourself that break, and then you come in, you have a couple of weeks where you're tired, your head, your body, and your mind, you remember that feeling of not wanting to be there, and it creeps back in a little easier each time. So you got to always give yourself a break.
Because mental fatigue is half of feeling. When you're not feeling good, there's physical and mental's just as important.
Probably most of it too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So when you're in a really good mood and happy, everything's so much easier, right? It's a lighter day.
Are you guys still doing hot yoga, stuff like that?
We haven't.
We haven't.
We work out in the garage in Florida
right now.
So no, but
we love it.
We were looking forward to getting back to that, actually.
Yeah.
That's given us a lot of longevity too. Like, I went through a point when I was lifting on weights like crazy, and I was huge, but it was not functional. It just looked good, but it wasn't used for anything. But I was starting to get like this, right?
More functional.
But yoga really gave me more years of my career.
And usually
I still do it, just in my warm up.
Yeah, and a lot of hot yoga we would do on a long break. So if we were able to go out, we would probably be at hot yoga right now.
Right.
So,
right.
But usually on the road, we with Crystal, we did not have a lot of days off.
Did you drive that tour, or did you? Oh no, you guys you got treated nice. You flew everywhere, right?
Yeah, we did charters after the shows, and it was really great.
No,
it was really good. Yeah. But
by a Walmart to pick up your food on the way.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, the difference with Cirque is, so you're in acrobatic numbers too. So on other shows, you come in for your principal ice at 4:00, and then you do the show, right? But on that show, you come in at 10:30, 11 every day.
Oh, wow.
And you're there all day until the end of the show.
Because on a show like that, you have so many disciplines. It's not just ice. It's not an ice show, it's a show on ice. So even though, yeah, we're on ice, there's so many disciplines throughout it. So think about your day of loading in the show, opening night, and practicing. Well, you might have 20 numbers that are all different, and everyone needs their time to practice.
Yeah.
So
well, and like I was in a lot of acrobatic numbers. One cool thing we did, which was did you guys see Crystal?
We didn't get to.
We boycotted it because it came to go after you guys were no longer on.
Right. Okay. So
I know, we were so sad.
That show is dead to me.
Yeah, it's not as good anymore. No, I'm just kidding. So there was these pendular poles, and what they are is they're a Chinese pole, which is a circus discipline, and Russian swing. So these giant poles, they hang from the truss and they swing like this, and they're like going like 20 feet in the air, back and forth.
Oh, higher.
So I was on the pole in my skates, and I was the one building the speed and building the swing. And then at the end, as we got almost vertical, I would kick, and my acrobat would do like flips off of it onto a mat that was like,
that was probably
5 by 5.
Yeah, it was very
small. with four guys holding the mat.
Would hold the mat while the guy did a double return. Wow,
so,
and landed.
But I was I was doing it in skates with my feet like on the edge of the platform. It was insane. It was like really when you think about it now, like why would I do that? But it was so fun.
Was it like the first time you started doing that stuff that you guys were like, this is nuts? Like, what am I doing here?
When you're doing it and you're thinking about technique and you're learning, because
when they first called a couple skaters because they needed some extra people to push because it's a huge number and takes so many acrobats. They're like, oh, we need a few more guys to push. Let's grab a couple of the big boy pair skaters. So I remember
just to say, in figure skating life, I'm a big boy. In normal life, I'm about average.
I recall the day we were I think the skaters were in a dance class or rehearsal off ice, and said, oh, can so-and-so and Andy come down to the ice? We want to do poles. They were like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Day one. And probably an hour or so later, they come back up to the dance floor, and they are pale, like white as ghosts. They're just like, I was like, are you okay? Like,
well, I remember being a little.
They were just like, wow, like what just happened? Because, I mean, there was no safety.
Well,
there's safety protocol, but there's no like wire.
Well, not on the pusher. So
the pushers are holding on and standing in their skates, and then you're getting this momentum to swing. So, I mean, they got used to it very fast.
Well, what I was going to say was Cirque is really good at like their safety is so important. So they build you up slowly, and you go through a whole protocol before you can even get to the high swings. So I was past all that, and I was fine because I'd been doing it. And then one day I was pushing this new girl, and she's like, well, I'm super nervous. I was like, why? She's like, well, I'm swinging today without the launch, which is the safety. She's like, I was like, yeah, well, you'll be okay. She's like, well, you do it every day. And I was like, oh yeah, shit. Darn. And so I was super nervous for probably that whole day, but then I got over it after that.
Well, I mean, did you transition pretty easily from being a fire twirler into that?
Well, my fire twirling background did help me,
It was.
I knew my fire twirling career was over when Judy Thomas destroyed me with fire twirling with her baton.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, and who? Barbara.
Barbara, that's right.
The teacher.
Yeah.
It was lovely.
Oh, Barbara.
I was like, please don't make me be an understudy. Please don't call me. Like, I was like, if Andy and Bonner and Chad and Mark are out, I'm in. I'm the fourth one. Please.
I had 4 solid baton twirling moves. It was on fire. It was cool.
You did. You didn't. You never. I think you dropped it twice.
No, I dropped it a few more times than that.
We'll never forget when in Lakeland when you were like, so do I go out on the second PP of life?
Oh, yeah.
And
this podcast is 100% for just inside jokes.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't get
Well,
it.
that's okay. Well, background, we're playing Nani and David from Lilo and Stitch, and I had to learn how to twirl fire. And so there.
It doesn't look like the movie. I'm just saying. We watched it the other day. It's not the same.
No, it's not. It's not as good. The movie. So, so we were in rehearsals, and it was a 6-week rehearsal. It was like week 4, and nobody had come in to teach me how to twirl this baton that I had to twirl on fire. And so I'm like, look, I need to find somebody. So I contacted a local lady in Tampa who usually teaches little girls in pigtails how to twirl batons. And I was like, you know what? She's got to be better than nothing.
She was.
And the funniest thing was she was so sweet, and she was in her late 60s.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, she's pretty old. I think she's older than that.
A little bit.
And so I had a lot of respect for her, and I wanted to, like, and she was teaching me. It was great. But when I was starting the number, I was like, I think I should end like this, like super strong. Oh, sorry. And she was like, super strong like that. And then she's like, she flexes her hip and she puts her hand on her. She's like, I think this would be better. And I was like, okay. So the whole time she was there, for the 2 days she was there, I finished the number like this because she thought it was better, and I didn't want to disrespect her. And the minute she left, I changed it.
She was teaching Mark, and was that the third one? I don't know, but she was teaching. So it's like you're taking this and you're dipping it into some vanilla and then chocolate. And so Mark, who's our French Canadian funny skater on the show, he's like so nervous, and he's backstage practicing vanilla chocolate.
It's true.
He went in, I think.
I've never seen anybody do that kind of act with such stiff legs as Mark.
What?
Like
Because he was thinking of the vanilla and chocolate.
Yeah.
He was
I'd be nervous too.
He was terrified.
I remember when they first started us with the baton too, they were trying different fuels to see what would work, and they tried diesel fuel. And that thing was a big flame, and remember the smoke was coming off it, and it looked cool, but they couldn't do it inside an arena.
No.
So they're like, this is the safety stuff, and you couldn't see it.
I know.
And it smelled really bad.
Well, you didn't come to China with us. So we went to China, and you would think China, where fireworks was invented, they would have amazing fireworks and pyro. Nope, banned. No pyro inside any venues.
Only viruses.
So what they did is, they took my baton, and those little like streamers you put on the end of your handlebar.
Oh, no.
It was one of the most embarrassing moments of my whole career.
The land of fireworks.
And all I heard when I was doing it was a.
And they're just like flapping, like.
But what was more embarrassing, that or the dragon holders? Just walking around like.
Probably that.
Yeah, I would say that.
Although
that
in China, the Chinese dragon that they used, they probably were like lame.
Yeah, they're like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
So tell us about your Dancing on Ice. Is that the name of it?
Yes.
Ding ding.
So you guys were in England and you were on TV there. What was it on? What channel?
ITV.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big channel, right? That's a big deal. That's a big deal there.
Yeah, it was. There's a few Dancing on Ice. This is the original one. Christopher Dean and Jane Torval were the stars of it, basically. And
you were with Gareth.
Gareth Thomas was my first.
And Andy was with her name?
Anthea Turner.
No, weren't you with Pam Anderson at one point?
No, she was on the same year.
She was on the first year.
Oh, she was in
and they actually pitted my partner against her because she was like, the English.
Blonde.
Cute blonde.
Yeah, and then so Gareth Thomas was a very famous rugby player. Yes.
Right.
And
the first openly gay athlete in sports.
Yes.
And
in that sport or all sports? Because I feel like that's
on team sports, I think.
On team sports, I believe, because he actually was on Ellen when he first came out, because it was
such a big deal.
So rare, so rare.
Probably like, we know.
Yeah. So he was great. I got to teach him many overhead lifts because he was
good from what we saw.
6'6" and so tall and strong. And then obviously being an athlete, it was much easier. He understood, as soon as I just explained what he had to do, it was so much easier. And then the second year, because we were on it for 2 years, I was with comedian Joe Pasquale, and
that's right,
which was a really sweet and hilarious experience, but completely different. We weren't doing any overhead lifts, but we laughed a lot.
Yeah, it was cool because, you know, while you're over there, it's the same as Dancing with the Stars. It's the same format. So people get to know who you are and you get a little bit of fame and all that stuff. And it was kind of fun to experience that. My first year I was with Anthea Turner, and she's kind of like, she was a TV host for years. She's very famous over there. She did like Top of the Pops and some kids shows.
Now
and then she's like a Martha Stewart, but like cuter.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
But she could not skate. So but the thing was, like, if I just got her in the air in a lift, her positions were amazing. But 3 turns, mohawks, nothing. I got kicked in the shin like 27 times one day. But so nice to work with. She was great. And then my second year I had Zara Abrahams, and she's done more stuff in the States recently. She's like one of Spike Lee's girls, does a bunch of her movies. So she was awesome. She was probably the best skater in the whole show that season.
She was really good. Yeah.
But she just wasn't as popular.
It's just a popularity contest. So
yeah, but it was fun.
You know, it's like, yeah, there is the talent stuff, but it's also who's popular. So this depends. Yeah. But that was a great experience.
We watched you guys, like, just highlights whenever you would post something. We'd see videos, and we'd talk about, like, it has to be so much scarier for you, Robin, because, like, if you're being lifted, like, oh my god.
Yeah, for sure. It's just the lifting. I mean, it wasn't as scary with Gareth because I said he's like, you know, he had this thought process of an athlete and being careful, and he was very strong.
That scared me.
Yeah, I would say turning for anyone that's not a skater, that's not used to turning. Going straight, it's very, if you know how the technique of lifting, it's like use your legs, stand up, and then arms, and you just glide. But if you're going to do a spin, it's, you know, that takes years of experience just to learn to spin and find your center and stuff like that. So then you have a person added to it, and it can get really wonky and wobbly.
Well, you're fairly tall, right, Robin? Were you like 5'6"?
Yeah, 5'5".
Yeah. One of the cool things, the cool thing was, like, each week we had to learn 3 numbers. So we had an opening number, we had our main routine, and then we had a save me skate. And then a lot of times Robin and I would have to learn 4, because when there was a musical artist, we were lucky enough we got to skate every time a musical artist was in. So it'd be like just us, or it'd be us and another couple. So that was cool. So like Ollie Murs and like Little Mix. Maybe they're not popular over here. But anyways,
it was a while ago.
But it was really cool to like skate to, like, you know, one of those artists that's really popular over there at the time, and the production they had was amazing.
Well, and the costumes look pretty cool too. Like, I remember the crazy thing with your hair all wild.
Yeah, for a show like that, you're definitely pampered like you've never been in your life.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's very hard. Yeah,
it's not real life.
I mean, you go in hours and hours before, because they'll work on your hair for 2 hours. At the same time, someone might come in either starting your makeup, or you'll go to another hour worth of makeup where they're airbrushing it on. And at the same time, another person might grab your hand as they're doing makeup and start doing your nails. I mean, I love that part. You're really like, there's nothing like it. There's no need to complain.
I'd be in craft service just.
And then because you're there and you have all these, like, a schedule, sometimes you can't get to craft service.
So you
have a runner that will come during that time and give you a menu and say, what do you want? And then you'll just be sitting there, and they'll bring the food to you because you don't have time to go there.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's
very cool. Like, you cannot complain.
Even during the rehearsal process, we have drivers they assign to us, and they drive us everywhere, which is it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm glad we did that later in our career when we really appreciated it.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to say names, but there was a few of the pros that had only done that, and they're like, the cars we got this year aren't very good, or they didn't get a very good champagne after the show. I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
I'm used to having like a crappy sandwich for $4 from the coffee stand.
Rehearsal pay. They don't get rehearsal pay or anything like that.
Exactly. So it wasn't real life, but we knew that, and we just like soaked it in and took it for everything.
I think it was great that we had done other things before. And
one of the coolest things was, so I'm on the ice, and it was my first year doing it. We hadn't even aired the show yet. And one of the producers was like, hey, are you busy tonight? I was like, nope, not at all. I don't know anybody here. Robin was up north training with her celeb. And they said, do you own a black suit? And I said, yeah, I got a black suit. Like, I think it was like a Zara suit that I just had pressed just in case, you know? And
I don't even know why you would have thought that.
I don't know why.
I should press my suits.
Yeah, it was very good. So they're like, okay, a car's going to pick you up at 7. You're going to go with this other skater, Brienne. And I'm like, okay, great. And I'm like, where are we going? They're like, oh, you're going to the Sun Military Awards. It's like, they send you guys there as kind of like celebs with the military people, and you're going to represent Dancing on Ice. I was like, okay, cool. So I thought it was like a, you know, like a banquet, like at a competition.
Yeah.
So we go there, and there's a red carpet, and Giselle Bundchen's on the red carpet in front of me.
Whoa.
And like the most famous people you could imagine. And then, so all the lights are going off when people are on the red carpet, and then Brianne and I go, and the show hadn't aired yet, and you know, nobody's taking a picture except the one who's like, oh, just in case. And so whatever. So I go and sit down at my table, and I'm texting Robin the whole time, and she's like, what? She's like, I can't believe I'm stuck up north. And I'm sitting next to like all these famous people, and then I'm like, just a second. And she's like, what happened? I'm like, I had to stand up the what was it? Prince Charles and Camilla just showed up. And they sat at the table with Christopher Dean and Jane Torval. It was like amazing. We were way at the back, but
but
it was
still,
it was so cool.
Air.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You can't do that now.
So that was amazing, like to be a part of that. And the thing was, I had no expectations. I didn't have time to get nervous about it. It was just like, it was like a movie.
So wait, you were from China, then you were in England. Did you give Prince Charles the virus?
Maybe. I gave it to him. It really took a long time to.
Yeah, it's a long incubation period.
Wow, that's an incredible experience.
Yeah, I was like, but same thing. I'm glad it happened later in my career when I could appreciate
really
it and know that this is not normal life. Like, so good.
So you guys have done like obviously a lot of different types of shows and different, you know, had many different experiences. Which one has been the most challenging, I guess?
First year Cirque was tough because again, they were learning, you know, what we needed at the same time as we were learning, you know, what they wanted from us. So,
and I'd have to say the circus world, they just work in a different way. Like skaters were used to a 5-week rehearsal, and it's very, very organized, and you kind of like are used to somebody just saying, okay, do this and this and this, like it's planned. Whereas the circus world is very
fluid and
and organic, where they used to the original Cirque shows used to take a year or longer to put together, a year or two for the original ones. So they did a lot of just playing, and that's
research,
how research, and that's how they created stuff. But with the ice shows, it was like kind of a new format, and it was down to like 3.5 months. And
we learned a lot though. We grew a lot there because
it's just a different.
We got out of our bubble of like how we thought things should be,
right?
And learned a new way.
Yeah, and just even like all the acrobatic teams, like they really work as a team. I mean, we've been doing shows a long time, but some people that were maybe newer to touring shows, you know, as a skater, it's a very individual sport. So, you know, we're used to that a little bit, but still, even the acrobats, they work together so much, and they just play off of each other, and that's how they create, and just, you know, everyone's just together as a team. So that was a great learning experience, I think, for all the skaters.
But a huge challenge, like huge
challenge,
to get out of our headspace completely, forget everything you knew and what you thought would work and what you thought was right, and be open-minded enough to, you know, let something.
It sounds like you couldn't just coast in that show, right? Like,
no, not at all. Like
that's nice though.
We all put ourselves forward a lot, the cast, like we all wanted to be in everything.
And they're pretty open to that too in the creation of the shows. They like to say, oh, what can you do? And there's little times like that where, oh, how about this? Or they're thinking and they really take that, what you've just created or played with, which is really cool. And as well, once the show is set, like almost every show, it just stays the same. Well, but Cirque, they love their show to evolve. So they'll, even over the whole entire time of it touring, or the whole first year, they'll tweak it if they let it go on the road, but they let it breathe and let it become.
Because people make changes on their own just naturally to see what flows better, and then they kind of say, let's evolve that.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's they call it, like, it's artist centric. Like, the artist really has a say in what they're going to do and the direction it's going to go. In the last few years, I think they've gone away from that a little bit, just because they've shortened the rehearsal period. They wanted to be more efficient and more conscious of how much money they're spending.
Right.
And so that's gone away a little bit, but it's also been replaced with a little bit more organization.
Do they have a lot of quick changes for you guys? Same thing, like you got
Crystal, every number.
The acrobats and skaters, we literally did not have one costume in the costume room. They were all backstage in the quick change. Everybody in the show. There was maybe one number you would have, but we were in, it was like one number, and when you'd rush off, acrobats were running on, and they were quick changing skates, because we taught them to skate, a lot more of them to skate.
So they have to put them on and take them off quick?
Well, they had skates with like ski bindings on them.
We hooked them up to someone we know, that
Mark
Ladwig.
Oh.
And he took the skates and put the ski bindings on them, so because they're not doing difficult skating, but they were wearing them, and we taught them to do stuff, small things, and pushing props, and like.
So wait, the ski bindings were attached to the blades? Is that what it would be?
No, they were attached to the boots instead of lacing them.
Oh wow.
So they could just pop them, because they have like boot covers, so you wouldn't see the skates usually.
So think of the skates you'd wear at Walmart, but
they were
same mechanism, but skates that are like $1,000, and they put
rental skate.
Yeah. But they had to, because the way that show was built it was quick changes for the whole show, the whole time.
How many people were on the cast?
There were, I believe, 42, but this is including 42 includes 3 musicians on Crystal.
Oh, they do live music?
We have 5 on
but that's only 12 skaters.
But that's only 12 skaters, and they ended up adding 2 extra
42.
skaters to Crystal. But on Axel, we just have 12 skaters. So,
but they built the show differently. So we're not quick changing on Axel, which is great. It's spread out a lot more. It's built a little bit more for longevity and 3 show days. They started doing 3 show days.
Yeah.
So that's new. They didn't do 3 show days before Crystal.
When you say 3 show day, I just think company meal. Just makes me
company meal. Yeah.
I think they might have done just the odd one, maybe at like Christmas sometimes, but it was very rare that they ever did 3 show days. But ours was built for doing Saturday 3 show days.
And the audience, good reception from them?
Yeah, it's great. It's really interesting. Crystal, I think when we opened, there were more people attending. I think they advertised it a bit more. Axel is more like, the content is great. I think the level is higher and there's more to see. There's more acts, but the story isn't as clear yet. So they didn't advertise it as much. Yeah. But everybody that we've had come to Axel that's seen Crystal, because I think the show Crystal now has been around for a long time. It's really cohesive. It's a beautiful package. But I was surprised to hear almost everybody that we've seen that came to see Axel liked Axel better from the skating world.
Right.
It was interesting because it is more of a skater show.
But of course, on Crystal, we did take a full year of being on the road, and we did rehearsals 10, 12 hours a day when we were doing shows. We continued that for a year. Yeah. So it's got to this like beautiful place where it's like, the
cast is really strong. The show's great.
Yeah, it's doing great. It's a beautiful show. So now we're just like a baby with Axel. Like we just opened really compared to that. And, we need to evolve.
It is more skating forward though. Like the main characters have 4.5 minute solos. The main pair number 4 minutes. Our number that we're in Gala, we all have like our own segments.
But it's about a 7-minute number or something for 3 pair teams.
Dang,
and then there's some background stuff on it.
So, I mean, it sounds like as far as the skating goes, they really appreciate and they utilize good skating.
Yep,
Right.
for sure. And
Yeah.
that was something they learned from Crystal, because originally Crystal wasn't really supposed to have a lot of skating in it. But I think the artists that came into Crystal influenced the direction they took. I think they just thought the skaters were going to kind of like, be there to show that there's this skating in the show and choreography, but they didn't really realize that, skaters actually want to do all their tricks.
Right.
And so when we all got there, everybody was like, well, no, we want to do stuff. Like we really do. And the director was like, oh, you can do that? That's cool. Okay, let's do that.
I'm really curious to see what it looks like, because I've only seen maybe just brief clips,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just curious to see what they can do with skating, because in my mind, skating there's only so much you can do, right? Like when you see people try to do, like they try to put hip hop dancing, you can only move a certain way because your blades glide, right?
Yeah.
But I'm really curious to see what Cirque did. I want to see.
Well, you can see Julian, we have this guy, he's the best freestyle skater. We call it freestyle. He's the best freestyle skater in the world. It's amazing.
Really?
So yeah, he's great. And then one of our favorite numbers on Crystal was the ramp number. So it's like a mix of like a skate park, guys on wheels on a skate park with ice. So,
or if you've ever seen Red Bull Crushed Ice, the guys that race on.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we have some guys that were on the Red Bull Crushed Ice team, and then we have some guys that were from roller and really good inline, and do all the ramps and flips and stuff, and then came to the ice. So they had more of like that sort of flipping ramp style. But then the hockey boys, we call them hockey boys, they're not hockey boys, but the Red Bull boys came in, and then they learned more tricks. So they kind of merged and became this team. And it's one of my favorite numbers in the whole show. It's incredible. It's so cool. The energy that those
that's a reinvention
guys have.
of
It's
the ice for sure.
It's quite incredible.
And the cool thing with that is like, so on wheels, you have the friction of the wheels, but on ice, you're going so much faster, less friction. So the air they get, it's insane.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
It blows your mind.
How long is the show on average?
They're about 2 hours. Yeah, with intermission and stuff.
That's a long show.
Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, so is Cirque, I heard they're not doing financially great right now. Is that true? Can you comment?
Well, we see what you see in the news.
We only know what you know. We were on tour, and this all came up, and we were in rehearsals to open in Bakersfield about 3 weeks ago, or just over that. And we were supposed to open on a Saturday, and as we were doing rehearsals during the week, just building up to it, it went from one day, one city was canceled. I think it was San Jose, because in California they started shutting things down. And then it went to the next day, we had a meeting, 2 months you'll be off, and we continued rehearsals. And then the next day was a Friday, and it was like, okay, 7 months. And we packed up everything, and literally the next morning we all flew. We didn't even do the show that weekend. So it all happened super fast. So what we know is what all you guys know.
So you're doing your new business, but are you still with Cirque though?
Well, yeah, we're laid off, and when the show comes back, the good thing about our business is it can run parallel with what we're doing.
Awesome.
And work alongside, and it'll actually complement that. As far as like back to the Cirque thing, all I can say about, we can speak as artists how they're treating us, and they've been great. They communicate with us every week. When they told us what was happening and all the layoffs, they kept us in the loop the whole time.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah, it wasn't like we just got an email. No,
they just have updates throughout every few weeks. Just kind of what they're doing, where they're at. So
good. Well, I hope they get going again. Do you have your tour schedule? Are they coming through Dallas?
Yes, they were supposed to come through Dallas. No, they're supposed to come through. Wasn't McKinney? Where's Barbara's?
Ellen?
Frisco?
Galleria.
Frisco.
Yay!
That's right by us.
Yeah.
We'll see. I have.
Don't you dare.
Schedule.
Don't make that show dead.
But some stuff hasn't been announced, so I don't know what's been announced yet.
Yeah.
I guess we need to wait and see. So.
Well, we definitely
I'll let you know.
want to see you guys. If
not,
not,
for sure.
I know. Well, once the quarantine's lifted,
let's go to Thailand for like a month and just hang out. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be fun. You guys want to watch the kid for a little bit?
Yeah, for sure.
He's fun.
He's fun.
It seems
But-
cool.
So cool.
Did you guys get that message I sent you?
Sure did. Don't judge.
Don't judge. He says all kinds of stuff too. He'll be like, "Daddy, don't."
No.
He doesn't know the
That's-
backstory.
That's funnier than anybody.
Well, and then he doesn't know
Yeah, I haven't
the
told him the
backstory.
backstory thing, but that's okay.
Okay.
Fine. So, okay, your new business. When are you going to actually launch it?
We'll be telling people in the next few weeks.
Okay.
Cool.
And is there anything that we can do right now to help, or
Uh,
people reach out? or is
Not
it-
yet. We don't want to do anything prematurely, but when we do, let's come back on and we'll definitely.
Okay. And if you want to tell us off air, maybe we can help
Yeah,
somehow. We know a lot of
for
people.
sure. I would like a house.
Okay.
Maybe a.
Let's be into it.
I do have another question. This is gonna be, I don't know. So with you guys traveling all the time, because you guys
Yeah.
travel, like, you know, you guys are bouncing from city to city.
Tell me what it's like. I
And-
miss my life. I hate my life.
No, it's a health question.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you said like sleep is really important. So how do you guys like regulate that? How do you guys make sure you guys get enough sleep? Because you guys are jumping from time zone to, you know, like different things. Like what things do you kind of do to help make sure that you get enough sleep?
Well, we were talking about this recently. Like we control what we can control. So we try to keep things as familiar as possible. Like we'll go into the grocery store and we'll get the things we like, have them in the room. We make sure that you know, on our one day off when we're traveling, say if we travel right after the show, we might not get the right amount of sleep that day, but we just have a really strict schedule we follow.
It's a
you know?
discipline, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It really, you know, and it's just having those things you can control, keeping them consistent. From our warm-ups, when we warm up, when we go to the gym, what we have in the room to eat.
And
So that-
I just know like when I need to chill out, I'm like, no,
Mm-hmm.
just leave me. I'm fine. I just
Mhm.
need to zone out by myself and
It's
just
got to be
relax.
easier for you too now, just for entertainment wise, that they have Netflix and stuff that you can watch on your computer, right? Instead of just
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
We're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like when you talk about changing time zones, we try to, like at the beginning of the week, we try to adjust right away.
Yeah, like when we just flew to Japan and it was for 2 weeks and coming
Mhm.
back to the show, for example, and once we flew to Japan, we were getting in at 6 o'clock at night to the hotel. We had one dinner planned that night with friends, and Andy was starting work at like 8 in the morning. So we just tried to rest on the plane as much as possible. And he went to work the next day, like got up at normal time. And then there was a gym close by. So we just tried to go to the gym that week as many times as we could, just to at least get the body moving and
Yeah.
hydrate and stuff like that. And then
Reaping
coming
a lot of
back.
weight and just making everyone look small.
Well, I think the thing is just keep moving, right? It's great to have a day off where your body just rests for a day, but that's another thing that's helped us at our age now is like we can't take too many days off. At least do something, have a stretch or, you know, and then have a heavy workout day. But the longer you take off, it's so much harder to get your body moving, and it's
mentally
painful.
too. Mentally too.
I've read, and I don't know if it's true because I don't ever get to travel internationally anymore, but we will. But supposedly a good way to
Engaging in the
to
conversation.
help reset your circadian rhythm is you don't eat on the plane and then you eat your first meal as breakfast there. So you wait until breakfast of the morning you're going, and that resets your circadian rhythm.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I have the willpower to give up free food.
Oh, and airplane food too. I like that.
Yeah, like that first meal, I'm like,
That's his favorite. He's like, I can't wait for a long flight. We get to watch movies and people bring you food and
It's
drinks.
it's the only time you can really feel like you're extremely rich.
You're off your phone. Nobody can get a hold of you. People
Yeah.
are bringing you stuff.
Bring-
Like it's
You sit there and people bring you stuff and you watch movies. Like,
it's
It's
what
pretty
to
awesome.
complain about?
chill out time.
It's amazing.
You guys have a ton of miles now?
Oh, we got a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready for another vacation after this vacation. After we work again.
We still have to take our 10-year anniversary trip. It'll be 11 years this
Yeah.
year.
Oh, where do you want to go?
So we have a bunch of places in Austria, but one was Thailand, one was Japan, one was New Zealand, just someplace not here.
Right.
We've been around here.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
You know, we were in Thailand. We took a month before Axel started.
Mhm.
After my knee surgery, once I was able to walk
Travel.
around and
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we have a month. Robin found these tickets. Have you ever flown Southern China Airways?
I have not actually. I go
Really
usually
good.
Southwest.
Partly
Usually
not
my-
good. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like
it was a
the
great deal.
the flight. Yeah, it was.
Great
We
deal.
flew to Thailand, returned for $900 for 2 people.
From San Francisco.
Wow.
One stop.
So we're like, you know, we have time.
We
let's
won't
go.
tell you where we stopped.
So we stopped in Wuhan before this all happened. And on the way there, we stopped there. It was
last
fine.
year.
The airport was very clean. It was brand new, and it was great. We went and the flight from Wuhan to Bangkok was a little bit sketchy. The food was weird, and they weren't as friendly. But on the way before that, like to Wuhan, they were great airline. The people that worked there were awesome. So we go to Thailand. It's awesome. Best vacation ever. Month of our lives.
Mhm.
And then flying
Just
back.
with backpacks. It was great.
Yeah. Flying back, we check into the airport and they say, okay, so you're going to be stopping in Wuhan and Guangzhou. We're like, wait a minute. We're flying through Wuhan to go back to San Francisco. They're like, no. We have an extra stop. I'm like, it's not on my ticket.
They don't advertise.
She's like, it's not on anybody's ticket. I was like, oh. So each time we go through the airports in China, we have to fully clear customs. It's
Two
like
times.
it's like a 2.5 hour process.
No. It was 5 hours.
Oh, 5 hours. Yeah. So
Oh my.
2 times.
it was, and the funniest thing was
Customs.
there was this man there, and I think he was originally from China. He was really funny, and he had this fan. He was carrying this fan that he bought.
That goes on a table. Yes. Like
And-
a fan.
He was right out of a movie, and the whole time he is complaining
so mad.
loud. I'm like, you can't do that. You're going to get detained. Like the way he's complaining. We saw a fist fight in the airport. It was crazy.
Yeah. It was neat.
That was neat.
But it was only $900.
$450 each. But the trip to Thailand was fantastic. Though.
Yeah.
Was your hotel like? Did you stay in one place or did you keep moving around?
No, we because
Every 3 days.
yeah, Thailand is so easy to book hotels and it's so cheap that we decided we'll book for 2 days, and if no phones, no computers, nothing.
Well, actually, my phone broke the first couple of days. I don't even know what happened to it, but anyways, it broke, so I didn't have it, and I was like, oh, whatever. Here we go.
Yeah.
Andy had the computer, so we checked email like once every few days, but I didn't even have a phone, so I took no pictures. And he took some on his phone, but
yeah, so I had to work remotely from there, but I had that's the only thing I used a computer for.
yeah.
So we go out, no phones, no computers, and we'd say, okay, this is the deal. If somebody says somewhere's cool, let's just go there.
Oh wow!
And so we met people, we talked to people. Stray dogs followed us everywhere. It was really kind of cool.
We booked like 3 nights at a time. So we booked our first night. We stayed over in Bangkok when we got there. We stayed 1 night close to the airport because we were flying out to one of the islands. And then we booked the first 3 nights, and then we just figured it out from there. So there was so many places so close. Everything's so easy to access.
Yeah.
You can book a hotel really easily, like a very nice hotel, very affordable.
How cheap are they? Like per night?
Well, we stayed, so
Like
we use Agoda.
everything.
Agoda is a site we use a lot.
I use that too. Yeah.
Yeah, so on Agoda, they have these flash deals, and if you can go then, if you can just book it and go. So we stayed at this hotel. One, it was ridiculous. It was on Koh Phangan, and that's where the full moon party is. But the other side of the island is actually really beautiful, and it's not a party
Kind
park.
of resorty.
Because we're not really full moon party people anymore. So
ever.
this hotel, the Buri Rasa, is normally like $650 a night, and all of a sudden I see it and it's like $55, and I was like, well, let's go there.
Yeah.
We'll go there.
So we booked 3 nights there. It was like a 5-star resort for like under $100, like so cheap.
Like view of the ocean. It was
and the
incredible.
pool, and
Wow.
yeah, it was so nice. And
The
so
breakfast was-
basically we did our first 2 days, and then we went back on, okay, where are we gonna go? And you know, just from hanging out in the area, kind of, okay, let's just move on to this place. And you talk
Okay.
to people.
Yeah. Well, that place we found, that area we found because somebody we met was like, oh, you got to see the other side of Copenhagen. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
we
not-
weren't even gonna go to Copenhagen.
Yeah.
We were gonna go to Koh Tao, and we just ended up staying and doing a whole.
Is that your favorite place to go? Thailand?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's so bang for the buck. Amazing.
The food's healthy.
People are so nice.
Huh.
Food is amazing. It's just, it's great.
All
It's
right.
so easy.
Thailand is where are we going?
It's just so easy.
Well, even we saw so many families too. Like if you brought Jack,
That's what I was gonna say. Is there stuff to do?
we saw so many families. And the cool
It's
thing,
very European, I would say.
Mhm.
Like, well, and there's different areas, different islands, but like where we were at the Buri Rasa was, it was all European. We were the only ones from North America there.
it was kind of weird we didn't have a kid because a lot of people had kids.
Yeah, it was just like normal, like they were babies and just like normal. Had the baby going in, like, you know,
Yeah.
we're not going to change our life. They're going to come with us and adjust to our life.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we were planning with him.
When did you guys go again?
A year ago.
A year ago.
Yeah, we went at the end of February and came back.
And that was a good time frame.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. It wasn't that busy. It was amazing.
Everyone's
You know,
so-
if you want to have some fun though, it's also fun to go during the Songkran festival. It's so the
in
whole
April.
country has a giant water fight.
Oh, I've
really?
heard about that. Yeah.
It's
I think
really
it's
fun.
in April sometime.
We've been there
Beginning
then.
of April, maybe, or end of
Yeah.
March.
One funny story, Robin got all dressed up and she was like, okay, if anybody sprays me, I'm going to kill them. She's like, so whatever. She's there. She goes to the front desk and they're like asking to go to a place. And one of the guys just pulls out a gun, sprays her in the face. She's so mad. It was
Like a water gun.
It was-
For people that don't
Oh,
know.
water gun.
The festival is. It's the water
That's
festival.
payback for Robin assassinating me. Just
Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
still haven't gotten
I
over
wasn't
that.
there.
oh,
Oh yeah, hit all go. Anyway,
Wow, you have a great
that's really
judge,
good.
don't judge. So all right, let's plan a trip. You guys want to come with us?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have you on in the future to promote your new
Talk about your
business.
business.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
So
That's exciting. We're excited for you.
cool.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for
All right,
having me.
thanks.
Thanks for coming out with us. That was fun.
Hang on, I'm gonna talk to you when we're off air for a second. But all right, thanks guys for tuning in.
All right, thanks,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.